Okay, well, good morning, everyone. As I said, welcome to our presentation this morning, Turning Your Business Vision into Reality with Microsoft Dynamics NAV. My name is Tom Doran. I'm with ABC Computers. I'll be your host for this morning. We do have quite a few attendees, and so I will have everyone in mute mode until we get to the end of the presentation. I will try to make sure that I allow for enough time for questions, but if we don't get to everyone during the presentation, we'll certainly follow up with you afterwards, so you can submit your questions in writing or after I unmute everyone. So just to start out a little bit with, who is ABC and what is Microsoft Dynamics? ABC Computers has been in business since 1984, so over 29 years. We're a staff of 40 people located throughout the Midwest. So in our picture there, the blue dots are our offices. So our headquarters is in Waupaca, Wisconsin. We have offices in Rhinelander.
Hey, Tom.
Yes.
Tom, I'm not sure people can see your screen. Have you shared your desktop?
Thank you. Thought I did. Let's try again. Thank you.
Here we go.
Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome.
All right. So now that you can see my dots, the blue dots are the folks where we have offices. So 3 in Wisconsin and 1 in South Bend, Indiana. The red dots are where we have staff working from home offices. We work with customers that range from startups to Fortune 1000 enterprises. Probably the big takeaway that we say to folks that we're just meeting, we win lots and lots of awards, and I'm not going to drag you through a lot of that this morning, but one of the most important awards that we've been very proud to receive, and we really receive it on behalf of our customers, is the Microsoft Dynamics Customer Excellence Award. And that award goes out each year. There's 355,000 implementations of Dynamics worldwide. Microsoft recognizes 12 firms every year as the best of the best, meaning that they've done something really unique with technology to help them gain a strategic advantage in their business. And ABC Computers has been proud to have 5 of our customers in the last 7 years be recognized as winners of that award. And so what that means to you is that if you're looking to try to do something to gain a strategic advantage or to improve your customer service, ABC Computers has a track record of helping companies do that. So what is Microsoft Dynamics? Dynamics NAV is a full-featured financial management and enterprise resource planning, or ERP system. So accounting, we say quote to cash, anything that you might do in your business to help you serve your customers, do your financial reporting, handle your inventory and production. There's over 94,000 companies worldwide that use the Dynamics NAV product. And one thing that makes Dynamics unique is you look across other systems in this space, you'll hear a lot about Microsoft integration. But Dynamics is the only Microsoft-owned solution. So we are a wholly owned part of Microsoft, the largest software company in the world. We receive more investment in our R&D than most competitors will do in top-line revenue. And among NAV users, that 94,000 companies worldwide makes us the largest install base globally of any ERP system. And as much as we like our brothers and sisters at Microsoft, I will also point out, there's 4 Dynamics products. There's AX, there's GP, there's SL, there's NAV. Our 94,000 is more than all 3 of the other products combined. So this is a very widely used product. We have over 1 million end users that are actually working with NAV every year. What do you get with NAV? And I'm not going to read you slides, but the idea is that you get a lot. there's a great amount of functionality that comes that helps small and medium-sized businesses behave like some of their larger brethren and really do an excellent job in strategically managing their business. Microsoft spent an awful lot of time trying to determine what end users want from their software system and how do we best provide that to them. And what they came away with is that we need to make sure that you have choice. And so there's really two lines there. One is the choice of client. And the client means how you interface with the software. So the Windows client, which is the way most of us traditionally have worked with software, means the computer that sits on your desk and the screen that you look through. The web client is any HTML browser-based interface. So for people that are remote or people that travel a lot that want to be able to go to a web browser and interface with their Dynamics software. And then the third is Microsoft SharePoint. SharePoint is a growing enterprise portal solution that more and more companies are using to do document management, to manage workflows, to manage a lot of the things that are really beyond their ERP solution. And Microsoft recognized that users really want one interface where they can do most of their work. And so for companies that are using SharePoint as their foundation, Microsoft actually has NAV parts that will allow a user to access NAV right from SharePoint. And then deployment options. So on-premise, again, very typically the way we're used to having software now. There's a server or a workstation in our office that has the software loaded. Partner hosted, so people that have data centers throughout the U.S. where software is hosted for us so that we don't have to maintain the computer network and infrastructure in our building, likely don't require as much on-premise IT staff. And now new is Microsoft hosted. And so Microsoft hosted, it just means that Microsoft owns these data centers. We believe this provides a great value for those customers that are looking for the cloud. So, you know, a hosted solution equals a cloud solution. So for those of you that are wondering what cloud means, you know, that just means that somebody else has the servers because the servers exist somewhere. So who do we work with? We work with lots of different companies at ABC. Names that you might recognize are the Culver's franchise system. So all those Culver butter burgers that people like to eat throughout the Midwest and now spreading across the country. Shep's Ice Cream, great ice cream located or distributed throughout the upper Midwest. Lids is a common name that if you have young people that are out in the malls, the Lids stores with ball caps and jerseys are widespread. The bicycle rack, you know, Sarah Cycling doesn't always ring a bell, but when I show people the bicycle racks, they go, oh, hey, I know those guys. Mrs. Jerry's Salads, All-Tex Manufacturing. You know, if there's fishermen on the call today, you may recognize the Mr. Twister brand or MEPS Lures. So, you know, we work with a wide variety of customers doing a lot of unique things, all using the same product. And what that means to you is that the product's versatile, it's adaptable, and as long as you have a vision for where you're trying to go, Dynamics and ABC can help you get there. So what we hear from a lot of people is, hey, you know, this looks really cool, but can I afford all of that? You'll be surprised. You can get started. Microsoft has looked at how to make ERP solutions more affordable, and what you'll find is that they have invested hundreds of millions of dollars to help companies make that next step from a QuickBooks or a Mass 90 or a Peachtree to the next level of software. And you can get a completely functional Dynamics NAV system with all the software that I'm about to show you with 5 users for less than $25,000. So It's a very affordable solution. It's a very robust solution. And, now we'll take a minute and I'll actually show you the solution. So Microsoft has spent about 6 years going out and interviewing end users just to say, look, let us watch you work. Tell us what you like about your current solution. Tell us what you don't like. Tell us what you wish you could do. And what they learned through this research is that most people want to like their system, but the reason that they don't like their system is it's complicated, it's hard to find things, they're faced with too many choices, they have to constantly decide where to go next. And so from that research, Microsoft developed some standard roles that ship with the product right out of the box. There's about 25 of these, and as you can see, it's everything from accounting managers, payables, receivables, company presidents, all the primary roles that you might envision in a company. And these roles are completely customizable, so they may match up nicely with how your company is structured. You may need to tailor them just a little bit, and that's something that as an end user you'd be able to do. But they give you a leg up by shipping with these 25 roles. And I'll start now, and this is a role center for a company president. And so what we heard from end users and company owners is look, I want to be able to manage my company by exception. I don't want to have to wade through a lot of reports. I want some visual cues to tell me what I need to do. And so Microsoft tried to make the product intuitive, familiar, and give you a clean interface that gives you quick notice of the items that you might want to take action on. So in this company president's role, we've got some financial performance that's right in front of us so I can see how we're doing relative to budget. Cash flow is the lifeline of every business, and so I can see how my cash flow is trending by date. I can see how it's made up, so my payables, my receivables, my sales orders. I can also drill into this data, so if I have a question about that chart that I saw, I can get to the source data with one click. And if I have a question, in this case, maybe this $60,000 sales order looks a little bit big to me, I can show the document and very quickly get to a place where I can see something I think I need to take action on, ask the system questions, and without having to do a lot of navigating, get my question answered and go on about trying to run my company. For those of you that are running Office 2010 or Office 2013, the screen should look fairly familiar. It's laid out just like the other Office products with the ribbon across the top. So I can see the shortcuts for the things that I may do frequently. The other thing that we heard is we need to make it easy to find things. And so Microsoft has put a web-like browser here, so I have my cookies the way I do when I search the web. I have my shortcuts. I also have the things that I do most often down the left navigation pane. And then I have a way, and I'll get to departments later, but I have a way to get everywhere as long as my security allows me to do so. But I'm a simple guy, and one of the things that I like best is the context-sensitive search. And so in this case, if I wanted to see something about items, if I start to type item, you can see that the system begins to do context-sensitive search, and you can see it's highlighted by a hyperlink, so I can quickly find what I'm looking for just by typing it into the field there and then navigate to where I'm trying to go. That was the number one thing that we heard from end users, was you got to make it easy for me to know what do I need to do next in order to do my job. Microsoft also knows that everybody lives in Outlook. And so they built the Outlook calendar and your Outlook inbox right into the screen. I can navigate to my calendar. I can navigate right to my mail so that I have one place where I can try to interface with the things I need to do on a daily basis. The second most important thing that they heard is that people spend an awful lot of time tracking down information. So I've got a question on a sales order. Is it going to ship? Did the salesperson follow up? And normally what happens is we pick up the phone or we send an email that gets lost in the hundreds of emails that we get every day, or we grab some paper and we pick it up and we go out to the dock to ask the shipping folks. So Microsoft created this notification pane. And what this allows us to do is, in this case, you can see that we had a question, why haven't you called these people? And so just by clicking on that note, it actually takes us to the to-do that was supposed to be taken care of. So there was a follow-up with Capital Office Furnishings. We wanted to know what was supposed to happen next. So this is a to-do in this built-in CRM system. And I can respond and just say, these people aren't nice to me, and that's why I didn't call. So I could send that note to anybody else that's a user in my system. In this case, I'll send it to myself so that you can see what happens. But two things to take note of. One is that you have a history of all the notes. So, if you're working on sales order follow-up, or we've got quotes out there and we've got back and forth for approvals with customers, we get the entire history of all the conversations specific to that document. But probably more importantly is when I get back to my screen, that note pops right up. So the first thing that has come to me is that question that one of my teammates asked that I was able to follow up on without having to search around for paper or get up from my desk and essentially lose productivity. So then what else is in the system is where we find the departments. So I'm not going to drag you through every one of these because we only have an hour today and there's an awful lot of material to cover. But I wanted to give you the sense of what do you get for that $15,000 initially. So for $15,000 and 3 users, you get everything you see on the screen. So full financial management, sales orders, processing, marketing. One of the things that makes Dynamics NAV completely unique among the Dynamics products is that we are the only solution that has built-in native CRM within the product. Purchasing, planning, MRP, built-in warehouse management, manufacturing from product design through capacity management, planning, job management. Another thing that makes Dynamics unique as opposed to some of our competitors is that systems are typically either a make-to-stock or make-to-order system or a job cost system. Dynamics is actually both. So if your company is a job shop or you're a manufacturer or more and more, maybe you're a mixed mode group, so you may do some engineering that looks like a job, but once the product goes into production, it looks more like regular manufacturing. Dynamics supports all of that. Field service, warranties, maintenance items, all of that comes with it. Human resources, shop floor data collection. So there's an awful lot here. It's a completely robust solution. And, if you like what you see and you're interested in taking a closer look, I'm obviously happy to circle back around with you and take a deeper dive on things that might be more important to you. So the home button is how I find. So the third most important thing we heard from end users is once I get into the system and I start clicking around, I get lost and I don't know how to get back. And so Microsoft created what they call the Ruby slippers. So if I click the home button, it brings me right back to my home page so I can start over on my day or on my task. So now I'm going to switch roles for a second. So just for a moment, take a look at the screen. Notice that, a company president is viewing data one way. Now I'm going to click into my profiles and I'm going to go look at an order processor. So somebody who is a little bit more tactical, doing day-to-day work. And how their screen's laid out differently. So now I log in as an order processor and I see things that are different. I still need some visual cues, right? So here's my open sales order. So what's open, what's pending approval, things that are released and ready to ship, and how is that trending? What are my sales orders? And these are designed, sometimes in a webinar they don't quite pop as well, but these look like stacks of paper. And it's designed to give people a visual cue, just like your desk. When you walk to your desk and you got a big stack of paper, you have a lot to do. Little stack of paper, maybe you've done better, or you've hid your paper in your drawers. So I can see here that I've got quotes that need to be followed up on. I can see product that's been ready to ship. I can see anything that's delayed that I may want to take action on, any returns or credit memos I need to work on. In short, giving me the things, giving me those visual cues that tell me what I should do next as I prioritize my day. The other thing that we have heard is that more and more people are speaking languages other than English. And so Microsoft Dynamics has enabled us, and I'll show you this quickly, but that comes with 23 different languages. In this case, and in the U.S., Spanish is growing in popularity. Many folks don't have English as a first language. And so by login, I can actually change the language, and you can even see the pop-up boxes already in Spanish now. And now my screens are presented to me in my native language. So an English speaker will see English language, a Spanish speaker will see Spanish language, and all within the same database within the same company. Again, helping our users be most productive easily. Now I'm going to get out of here because my Spanish isn't that good and I'm not going to be able to keep up with our presentation. Whoops. The Canadians turn out they speak English a little bit different. So we have Canadian English and North American English. So now for our order processor, we've got our navigation pane. I'm going to open up and just take a look at our sales orders for a minute. So this opens up a list of our sales orders. You can see down the right-hand side that I've got some fact boxes that pop up. And so this is handy if I just need to get a little bit of data. So I don't want to have to open every sales order to get some of the key information. So I can see that the Canon group here is going out of the blue warehouse. I can see some customer information. So what do we have in outstanding orders? What's shipped or not invoiced? The customer information, so phone numbers, emails. So quickly, if I'm interfaced with Link or Skype, I can click on this and it would actually dial the customer so I could follow up with them easily right from this screen. One of the things that we have to do oftentimes is follow up on payment. You can see here I have overdue amounts. Obviously if I call my customer, what are they going to tell us? Well, I didn't get that invoice, right? So Microsoft's made it easy because we're Microsoft owned. We have total integration with all the other Microsoft Office products. So I could quickly hit the Excel button. You'll see it's going to dump this all out. It's nicely formatted so I can send them the notes and then send as an attachment. And it'll pop my email for me. Ooh, I didn't log into my email. Okay, so it might bark. Oh, no, it didn't. Okay, good. So, it sends that quickly and easily so I can send that off to the customer, and in a couple of clicks, I'm right back to where I was going on about my business and working through the things that I have to do today. The other thing that it helps us do is search more effectively. So if I go through and I want to see just my large customers, I could go in and look and search on a various methods. So just about any field or status within the database, I can search and segment very easily. So in this case, it says customer name. So if I wanted to see, you know, the Canon group, just by typing those few letters there, you can see that I can quickly segment that list. And then by deleting that, the screen refreshes so I can find data quickly and easily. Now I'll go back. I didn't think I had logged in. So that's my email login barking at me. So between customers and items, that's where salespeople tend to live. And so you'll see again now I'm in an item list. Again, I have my fact boxes. So for this bicycle, I can see my cost, I can see my price. This is a manufactured item, so there's no vendor there. I can also see quick information that give me some background without having to open the item. I can also, one thing I didn't do a second ago that I should, but let's say I want to set a filter for my bikes. So I type in bike. You can see that I've got my two items that are bicycle items, and I can actually save this view as. So now before I save it, just look to the left. You'll see that my items don't have the little triangle next to them. And once I save the view as, I can say it's Tom's bike items. And once I save that, it reloads my screen, and now you can see that I've got my little triangle, and there's my filter. So if there's things that I do frequently, I can save those filters and quickly get that information. So customer service reps sometimes work with subsets of items, or they work with particular field salespeople. So I want customers sorted by the salesperson that I work with. I can quickly and easily get that information without having to reset that filter. So I'm going to open up our bicycle item just for a moment to give you a feel for the kind of things that are built within the item card. As you can see, our blues indicate that we've got some drill down capability, so I can see what's on purchase orders, production orders, sales orders. I can drill on any one of those. It opens up the list. I could show the document the way I did earlier, and it gets me right to that document so I can ask my question, and then quickly, just by hitting escape, I'm right back to my item card so I didn't lose my place. The way the items are set up are with tabs. So if I collapse this one, you'll begin to see that these are called fast tabs down below. So the data that we see on the screen is the data that we've indicated we want to see. And as end users, we can determine what do we want to see on our fast tab. So you can see on the general tab here, I'll collapse this just for a second. You can see that I have promoted the item number, the unit of measure, and what I have on inventory. If I expand it, I can see some additional information. And if I wanted to show more fields, I would see additional information yet. And so the idea is that an end user can determine what do I want to see so that I don't clutter my screens with information that I only refer to occasionally. The invoicing tab gives us a little bit of information that is particularly unique. One of the things that we hear a lot of is that we don't have the flexibility meaning an end user's talking to us and they say, look, we want to be able to have more flexibility in terms of how we cost our items. Microsoft Dynamics supports FIFO, LIFO, average, standard, and specific, meaning if I've got lot or serial controlled items that I want to know cost on a serialized or lot basis. And this is at the item level. So this is not a blanket setting. I can cost my items and value my items in a method that is most appropriate for my company to give me the data I need to do proper analysis. I can also set up, always see our last cost, our standard cost. I can apply overhead rates. I set my pricing here, so I can calculate how I want to price my item. But then in terms of planning and manufacturing, we also have all the parameters that we use to determine how the system is going to trigger telling us we should do something. So I have my reorder points, I've got order modifiers, so if I have minimum order quantities or maximum order quantities, or it ships in only a particular multiple, I have all of those built into the system so that when I run my planning worksheet, it's going to recommend to me, based on how I've set the system, what to buy or what to manufacture in the most appropriate method. When we do purchase or produce, so I determine what I do based on the replenishment system. So if it's a purchased item, I'd have purchased here. In this case, it's a production order. I can also do light assembly. So if I do kitting or basic assembly, it isn't full-blown manufacturing. We do support that as well. When I make things, I have a bill of material. So if I click in here, you can see that my bill of material for my front wheel here is all the items that are in that particular product. I have complete engineering change order management. So I have certified bills, I have development bills, I have bills that are out of service. I can also have active and inactive versions. So we have some customers that vary the way they produce their products based on the season. So I can make sure that I'm managing my version control properly. I can manage scrap. So if I have known scrap quantities, I can determine how much I might lose of a particular product every time that I use it. All giving me the ability to better manage my inventory. The other thing that we've heard a lot of is that it's good to be able to have drawings easily at my user's fingertips. And so with our links, I could actually bring up the drawing and see the CAD drawing of this particular bicycle, so I can give my users work instructions or CAD drawings easily. And so once I know what goes into my bill of materials, then I need to know what steps do I take to manufacture it. So in this case, this is the routing. And again, it's complete version control. So I have certified, under development, and closed. I can have active or alternative versions. So, one of the things we find a lot when we're trying to plan a shop floor is that despite our best efforts, either staff calls off or machines go down. And so my preferred routing may not be the routing that I simply have available to me right now. So I could fire up alternative routings and actually rerun my planning engine, and it will tell me how to best route my production to get the most out of the resources that I have available to me. We also have the ability to issue material at the appropriate route step. So I know, based on setup and runtime, how long a job should run. And if I'm running large capital equipment or projects that run a long time, I may not want to issue all of my material at the front end of the job. I'd rather stage my material in so that if I don't need it till the third step, which is 4 months from now, that I'm not buying and issuing material into WIP before I actually need it. So I'm making better use of my financial resources. We can also help manage particular tooling. So in tool and die environments, if there's particular tooling that's required for a job or particular personnel skill sets. Quality management has been a big issue. So in terms of acceptable mins and max and mean tolerance and the basic quality management aspects that we need to make sure that we're doing a good job and a quality job for our customers. All of those are managed at the routing level. Obviously, that's a deep topic, but that's probably as much time as I have for that right now. We also have item tracking, so full serial and lot control, expiration dates, so we can help you better manage your inventory and give recall for those of you that might be in businesses where we have to better manage our recall capability. We can manage the complete supply chain and see when we get a notice from a supplier, where do we have that in stock, and where did we use that, and which customers received it. So in a matter of minutes, we can help you manage a quality notice to customers or vendors. There's a lot more here, but I think for now I'm going to move away from the items. I'll return to my role center, and we'll talk just a little bit about customers. So I'll open up my customer list now, and we'll pick on our friends, the Canon group, just for a moment. But as you can see, again, we've got the ribbon. We've got our fast tabs, so I've got the information that tells me how I communicate with these folks, what their invoicing terms are. If I manage this particular account, I might be interested in some basic statistics. So, how are we doing outstanding orders? I can drill into this. I get a mini P&L. So for vendors, for customers, for items, I can see, how am I doing? What's my profitability for this account, this period, this year? How did I do last year? So I can see, am I trending the right direction? All at a glance. We have complete credit card integration, so if I've got credit card information, we have completely PCI compliant credit card information for our customers, so we can interface with them and accept their payments quickly and easily. One thing I will do quickly, just to give you a sense, because I keep talking about customizing. So let's just say that we don't do any foreign trade here. I'm going to go in and I'm going to remove this foreign trade fast tab. And so I do that in the upper left corner. I click Customize, and I say I want to customize this page. And you'll see my fast tabs, and there's my foreign trade. So I could remove this, and I'm going to do that first, so you'll see that go away. But while I'm here, I'll hit Cut. So now I'm on the Shipping tab. If I hit Customize, you can see that this is where I determine whether something's promoted, standard, or additional. And so when I click OK here, we're going to see foreign trade go away. So now foreign trade's gone, but I can also see the promoted fields, so a phone number and an email, are ways for us to be able to see the information we use most often without actually having to open up the tab and drill into it. So trying to give us quick and easy ways to get the data we need to do our job without having to do a lot of mouse clicks or keyboard action. So as you can see, as I've moved from items to customers to sales orders, the lists all have a fairly common look and feel. The ribbons are all laid out to help us navigate the product. The ribbons are designed to look like the rest of the Office suite, all helping your users become more familiar with the product more quickly, reducing your training time, and improving adoption. What we need are users that are comfortable in navigating the product, doing their jobs with as little training as possible. So then once this is all done, at the end of the day, what people want are reports. They want to be able to have information at their fingertips that gives them something that maybe is beyond the charts that we talked about here, but allows us to do a little bit more analysis. And, you know, ABC has worked with customers for many, many years, and so what I can tell you is that there's several hundred reports that ship with Dynamics NAV. I can also assure you that regardless of how great these reports are, there's going to be something unique that you're going to want to see. But I'll click into just a couple of these. So if I open up one of these reports and just give you a preview, you can see that I have pipeline reports. These are all built on Microsoft SQL Server reporting services. So what that means is that I have drill down within the report, so it's dynamic. So I can see that Bart Duncan here has a pipeline that he's trying to manage. So his total pipeline's 450,000. Based on the stage he's at, we think we're only going to get about 2,700, so he's not doing real well moving them along. I can see how they break up by account size, and I can drill all the way down to his to-do list and what they're supposed to do. I can also see sales dashboards, so if I want to look at, you know, my top customers or my top vendors, top items, it gives us a nice graphic dashboard so that I can see who I'm selling things to, what I'm selling them, and how I'm trending just in a few clicks. But probably one of the things that I was most excited about, you know, I'm a fairly simple guy, not a super duper programming whiz. And so I wanted to be able to figure out how to do easy sales analysis. And for years, people would talk to me about doing pivot tables. And, you know, I don't know if I'm just a little slow or what, but I could never figure pivot tables out, not the way other people did it. And Microsoft has really done a nice job improving how the interface with Excel works, and once I get it to Excel, how do I do the analysis? So I'm going to go in and I'm going to look at my posted sales invoices here just by searching. I'm going to dump it to Excel with one mouse click. It brings my data in nicely formatted. If I highlight the data I want to have a look at, the other thing it did, I don't know if you noticed, but it slowed down. The other thing that used to make me crazy is you'd try to scroll to the bottom and you'd blow past the bottom of your data and go another 700 fields, and then you'd have to figure out where you were. Now it slows down to let you know, hey, you're almost to the end. But now, once I've got my data selected, I can click on Pivot Table. It brings it into a pivot table automatically. So if I want to see by customer name, how much we've sold them, and maybe I want to add a pretty picture because everybody thinks you're a lot smarter and your report's a lot better if you have a pretty picture. Now, in about 5 seconds, I've dumped my data to Excel. I've formatted it the way I wanted formatted. I've got a nice picture that gives me a visual representation of my sales. And probably most importantly, once I get this report the way I like it, you'll see there's a Dynamics NAV tab right in your Excel. So this enables us to refresh this report so I don't have to build it over and over. Once I've built the report, I can save it and I can refresh it so that when the underlying data changes, the report updates without me having to do anything else. So that's been a great addition. It gives you a lot more flexibility in terms of how you do your analysis. And then the last thing I'm going to touch on this morning, just to help us get a sense of some of the choice that we talked about early on. So I ask you to just look again at our screen so you'll see my queues, my open quotes, my open sales orders. I'm going to go out and open my web browser. And lots of products for many years have tried to talk about the fact that we have the ability to do web-based portals, or we have user interfaces that enable people to be mobile. But the fact is they didn't really work all that well. And Microsoft put several tens of millions of dollars in developing a web client. So now I clicked my little shortcut there. It's using security, so it looked and made sure that it knew who I was, so it would let me through my firewall. And now, right through a web browser, I'm seeing an interface that looks almost identical to the interface at my desktop. So I've got my queues, I've got my shortcuts. I can work almost exactly as effectively from a web browser anywhere in the world as I can at my desktop. This is a huge step in helping our teams, our leaders, our salespeople, our service folks become more effective, to stay more connected, to serve our customers more effectively, all using tablets or laptops or phones from the field. So that is we're really proud of that development. Microsoft did a great job with Dynamics NAV, and ABC Computers customers have given us just rave reviews on the web interface. So that is a really quick flyby on the product. We're going to stop just to make sure we have a chance to respond to your questions. Amy, do we have questions?
We do, Tom. Let's see here. When you were going through budgets and sales orders, Matt asked, can the items on the left side, for example, budgets and sales orders, be renamed to use this in a non-sales environment? And does this handle payroll accounting?
So it does handle payroll accounting. Renaming the fields is simple. So I'm going to give you a short answer rather than drag you through all of that. Yes, they can be renamed. Depending on how many spots they might show up, there could be a few places we may need to do that.
Okay. The next question was, will this work in a non-Microsoft browser?
It will. We support Chrome. We support Safari. But Microsoft will always say we support everyone, but we support Internet Explorer first and best.
Okay. The next question, can a mobile route accounting system download into the system?
It can. We have several customers. Shep's Ice Cream was one of the folks that I mentioned to you. They have route trucks out delivering ice cream to Walgreens and grocery stores all over the place, and they use a direct store delivery system that interfaces with Dynamics.
Okay. We have an attendee who's raised their hand with a question, Kenneth Morrow, so I'm going to unmute him.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ken.
Ken, make it easy. Well, Ken, we can't hear you. Is your microphone on?
Do you have to unmute all the attendees, maybe, Tom?
I could try. I think I've got folks unmuted. We get a lot of background if we do it that way. Ken, can you? Okay. Well, Ken, if you want to type your question into the chat field, we can't hear you, but we'll see if we can't get you an answer.
Oh, here it is. Does Dynamics NAV support a repair bill of materials for job shop production where part numbers being worked on will select from a bill of materials the parts that needed for that repair?
It will, yes. We actually do that. Depending on how your question, there's a couple of ways we see that happen, Ken. So one is when we're working on our own equipment, right? So we're doing preventative maintenance, or we're doing some secular type of maintenance. We will actually have a bill of material that's attached to the fixed asset, so that it also helps us plan the appropriate supply items, but it also helps us track that expense against our asset. The other way we do that is through our service management process, and so we will actually have regularly scheduled service orders for particular types of repairs and maintenance, and those can have bills of material associated with those.
Here's another question. What accounting improvements have been made in NAV?
There's been a lot of accounting improvements, and so two of the biggest is, one is the cash flow worksheet. So when you go in, and I won't drag you all the way through this, but I will just show you. So the cash flow worksheet gives you a completely new section that allows you to develop your own chart of accounts, if you will, associated with cash flow, and enables you to do reporting and the charts that we showed you earlier. So that's a big improvement relative to cash flow. The second is cost accounting. And so for those of you that are in manufacturing and job shop environments, again, this is a completely parallel type of chart of accounts that allows us to develop and manage how we allocate our costs, how we develop our managerial reporting, so that our financial reporting statements can be good for the bank and the auditors and all this other folks. But in our cost accounting section, we're developing those internal financial reports that help us manage our business more effectively. Those are the big ones.
See. Okay, more specifically, improvements in the financial role center.
Well, that's an interesting question. So it sounds like you might be familiar with the role center. So what I will say to you is that every role center is completely customizable by an end user. So if you're not happy with your role center, I would suggest that you talk to your IT department or talk to your NAV partner and tell them what you would like that role center to look like, because those role centers should look the way you want them to look. More questions, Amy? We got just maybe...
Looks like we answered them all. I'm just going through real quick to make sure there's none that we missed.
Okay.
It appears as if we covered them all. Maybe if you flash your contact information on the screen,
sure, that's,
if anyone has any additional questions, they know how to reach you.
Yep. So, I hope that I've given you a good feel. This was designed to be a, sort of an introduction and an overview, and I hope that you've gotten a flavor for what Microsoft Dynamics and ABC has to offer. If you have questions, my email is tdoran@abccomputers.com. I am more than happy to spend some time with you one-on-one, learn more about your specific operation, and see to it, that I get you the information you need to make a decision as to whether Dynamics NAV is right for you. Okay, well, thanks everyone for taking the time today. Look forward to meeting you in person in the future, and enjoy the rest of your day.